Hey everybody, Beastman here again with another tutorial. So this one I'm going to do APS weapon systems, just a really basic setup just to show you how to do it. There are different weapon systems, so the next couple ones I'll probably just cover each of the weapon systems quickly, just so you have an idea how to at least very quickly set one up. There'll be probably more advanced ones that covers more about those things. So first thing we need is a turret base. So this is located in new objects. There, whatever one you had. So the bigger the base, the more expensive it is, but the more health it has and the quicker it can turn, depending on how much weight is on top of it. So the smaller the turret axis, the slower it will turn, the more stuff you put on it. So 5 meter base is obviously 5x5, it's huge. 3 elevation only goes up or down, doesn't go left or right. 1 axis turret only goes left or right. 2 axis turret goes any direction. Can be a little bit fiddly to get those right. Let's just have a 3 meter one just now. Okay, so this is your turret. So now I am in turret build mode now. Because I've placed this turret, I am now able to edit this. I can't place a block on here because the only thing that exists for the builder at the moment is this turret. To come out of turret build mode, I would press the left square bracket. I covered this in the tutorial too. So that's me now back to editing the ship. If I clicked on there now, it would delete the turret. So it would remove it. If I want to go back to editing the turret, right square bracket, push. There we go, back on again. So APS, Advanced Projectile System, but also known as Advanced Cannons. So things you need. So your main firing piece is this piece here. So we'll start with that. I'll just quickly put that there. This is not going to look nice. So this is the main firing piece. Now you can see all the information about the advanced cannon in the tooltip. In front of this, you'd have a mantlet. A mantlet lets the turret move left or right or up or down. So if we put, for instance, this one on, therefore the turret can aim up but can't aim down. This can be placed the wrong way around. So if I was to rotate this, which tab and E or Q, here we go. I've put it the wrong way around. But you might want that if you're making like broadside turrets on ships and things. So it's up to you. Then you'll need barrels. Heavy barrels are the equivalent of kind of like heavy armor, but on a barrel. So they're quite good if you're not wanting your turret to get blown off easy. Bore evacuators, they provide a reduction in cooldown, but it's quite weak, so it's better to put that on the end of the barrel if you can. Likewise, a muzzle brake reduces recoil but slightly lowers the speed of the shell. So you don't always want them, just depends on what it is you're making. So we've now got, that's the front of the turret. We wouldn't necessarily always build it that way, it's up to you. So gauge increasers will increase the size of the shell. The biggest size an APS shell can be is 500 millimeters. So just to show you, if I put a whole string of them there, you can now see the gauge there is listed as 456 millimeters. Splitters allow you to add more than one place for you to place more of these, or increasers. Thing you got to watch with splitters is the middle point of the junction here. You'll notice it's got kind of cone rather than the sort of spike. That's because coming from the APS firing piece, that is where the connection is made. If I had done it this way, that is, as you can see, not connected. To be connected, it has to be like that. So gauge coolers cool the cannon down so that it can fire again. Excuse me, still got this cough. Then you need something to store the shells in, so this is the autoloaders. So belt feds will fire off as much like it'll go through the entire clip and then it'll reload again. There's settings for this. It's a bit of a trickier one to set up. These ones are just standard autoloaders, so 1 meter, 2 meter, right up to 8 meter. The reason that 8 meters gigantic, that's going to be for your battleship ones. God, and this basically allows you to. This defines how many modules you can use when you're designing your shell, which I'll cover in a sec. So this would allow me to have 8 shells racked. Each one of these needs an input feeder, or if you do it a different way, if you have ammo clips. Difference here is this one you can see the shell, this one you can't. This one's friendlier on your computer. So that would give it clips. Clips hold more shells, and load makes the autoloader load quicker. Although not always. There's a bit of a mathematical thing where it's sometimes better to be clip less than have clips, and the more clips you have, the faster it can load back in as well. I'll probably cover the maths more in an advanced tutorial. I don't want to confuse people just now. So this just now is a basic APS turret that has no recoil management. If you want to add recoil, you add recoil absorbers here, and that has to go onto the gauge increasers or the coolers. So as you can see, my shell there would be 293 millimeters. I've not got a shell loaded, so it won't give me the other stats at the moment. So that's me out of turret build mode. Now to design your shell, you need an ammo controller. And where am I going? And then we just plonk a few of these down. Best thing to do is just put a head on, doesn't matter which one, so we'll just go HE head. Now this here tells you what you need to let the shell get loaded, and this marker here is what's if you've got more than one gun, you might see more than one marker. So I've got a 293. So 293 millimeter. This is saying this shell at the moment is 2,344 millimeters, and it would fit into a 3 meter shell rack. So that's enough for what I've got there, but I could maybe optimize it a little bit more. So let's see. Yeah, so that's pretty good. So that's 2,930 millimeters to fit into 3 meter shell rack. And this is basically the shell. So I can see at the moment, if I was to leave it like this, it would have a muzzle velocity of 784 meters per second, and it would have explosive damage of 1,053. That is its armor pierce. That is how much damage it would do just from hitting at that speed, and that is the expected recoil force. This as well. This shows you how many what your barrel length would need to be for it to be optimal, basically. Not always God, not always doable. Depends on your design, really. So Shell knows these components can only be placed at the bottom here. Get different types. I'll probably cover them in a different video. Play around with them. So let's just make a pure HE warhead. Sort of sweet number is the max number you can kind of have before the returns really diminishes 6, I think. So you wouldn't want any more than that. You're probably not going to get that anyway unless you've got a gigantic shell. I'll probably cover fuses in a different one, but for now I'm just going to shove an inertial one on. Inertial makes the shell detonate even if it bounces off armor. So if it detects a change in angle and then explodes it. So at the moment this would go 381 meters per second. It would have 2,592 explosive damage. And I mean, you can see the stats there. So just to check, definitely got ammunition for the gun. You need that. If you don't have that, it's not going to fire. You then need to tell your inputs what shell it is you want to fire. So you'd look at the input, press Q, pick your shell, and then assign all the intakes to that. If you've got more than one barrel here, which you can do, then not like this where you set number of barrels to be higher. We don't want that. I meant if you actually have a second physical advanced firing piece here, and you've done this so that the whole turret is like a triple barrel or double barrel. Each one of those advanced firing pieces will need its own set of ammo inputs with a shell set. So at the moment we've got that set. What we don't have is AI. So that's connected to there. Probably need some sort of detection. Covered AI last tutorial in case you missed it. You're unsure about any of this. So, okay, that's got detections. Detectors have got power. Maybe just put a tracker on there as well. Just I will do detection in another video. It's a bit mad science. So there we go. We've got a basic fortress with a turret that has a shell designed for it. That's got ammo and AI, so that will fire. So out here, let's put in everybody's favourite test boat, Marauder. We'll see that the shells are now firing from the gun. So that's an advanced cannon at its most basic. The other thing to bear in mind, which I think is quite important, is if you're building ships, where do you place your turrets? So I will. So yeah, these. I mean, the whole point of this boat was to have this gigantic sort of turret. That's the thing. It's so if we look down, see that I've placed it inside the hull now, like an actual warship. Now that is because if we go back to the very first video about buoyancy, you want the weight to be evenly distributed through the hull. If I was to put this turret up the top here, it would make the top really heavy, and then that would cause it to flip quite easy. You can make turrets. I mean, a lot of the neater designs do have that. So if I was to, this one for instance, if I was to place it, it can sit on top of the deck, but the problem is all this weight is sitting on the top and not distributed through the deck. So if this gets too heavy up here, the boat is going to turn over, especially if you start taking damage, you start losing some of your superstructure. Start losing some of the bottom of the boat, and then the top bits then suddenly heavier and it flips over. So gotta watch this. It's alright for these types of things where you've got little tiny guns that you just want to do a little bit extra damage. So yep, that's a really basic advanced cannon, and next time I'll take a look at crams. After I've done these crams in APS, I'll show you a blueprint on the workshop that is quite good to look at for learning. So I hope that helped. Catch you next time. Cheers, bye.